Hey y'all, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to embroider a blanket, and most importantly how I float my fabric on top of my hoop in order to get the job done. So if that is something that you're interested in, please stick around. Alright, so welcome back to my channel. My name is Shelly if you've never been here before. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how I embroider a blanket. So I'm going to be using my Husqvarna Viking. I have a Topaz 50 and it has a pretty big hoop. It's a flat hoop, but it's pretty big. And as far as the fabrics, I'm going to be making 2 blankets today. However, I'm just going to show you how to embroider on one because once you see it on one, it's the same process on the other. So here are 2 fabrics that I have. And sorry I'm backlit, y'all, but my machine is facing the window or in front of the window, so it's a little different today, my setup. But here are 2 fabrics for the blankets that I'm going to be making. Both of them are super cute, and this one is for an infant, which usually I make a smaller blanket for an infant, but this is all I had of the fabric. And if I would have cut it, it would have been a weird amount left over. So it's gonna be a pretty big blanket for the baby. And this one is for a toddler, and so it's a little bit bigger. And as far as the fabric that I'm going to be actually doing the embroidery on, it is this here fleece that I got from Joann. I believe this is called a blizzard fleece, and it was on sale, which is why I chose this over the Mickey fabric that I normally use. I really like the Mickey fabric. It is really cute. I really like the texture in the fabric, but this is what we are going to be using today. And it should work. It's gonna work. But before we head over to the embroidery machine, I do need to cut down this fabric because this is a 3-yard cut. It may be like a 2 5/8 cut. I don't know exactly how big this is, but it's enough fabric to work on the back of both of these blankets. So let's go ahead and cut that up. All right, so now that that is cut, it is time to go ahead and get it on the machine. I did only cut one of the fabrics just because I'll cut the other one while this one is working. So like I said, I have the Topaz 50, and this is the 360 by 200 hoop. This is the biggest hoop that works with this machine, and it is pretty big. I mean, it will get the job done for most projects. And I've already, I don't know if you can see it, but it's really light as far as the thread goes, but I've already run the stitch to show me the position of where the name is going to be stitched out. So now that I have that done, I just put my hoop back on. Oh, I actually need to change my bobbin thread. And I just use a white thread because you're not gonna see it because it's gonna be up under the blanket. So the way thread works when embroidering and when sewing is completely different. You can usually see your bobbin thread when you sew because of the way the needle goes down and pull the thread up to secure the thread. It's totally different on an embroidery machine. All of the thread in the bobbin stays on the bottom. It's really just to secure the embroidery thread. I hope that makes sense and that doesn't confuse anybody. But let's get back into this. Go ahead and put my hoop on the machine. The bobbin thread is good to go. And now I just need to figure out what color I want the top thread to be. So let's go back there. Oops. Right now I have a blue thread in there and I definitely don't want blue. One moment. Okay, so I have a lot of embroidery thread, but because this fabric is so light, I thought about doing a darker pink, but I just don't think it would mesh very well with this being on the other side. So I pulled out a white and a gray thread. I believe there's only one color thread for the font I chose. So I think I'm just going to go with white. I think white is still close in color, but I think white works best. Although look at that. I don't know if y'all can see that dark color pink on this fabric. It actually shows up pretty nice. Now I'm second guessing my thread color choice. Let me see.
2 hours later.
Okay, I think I'm gonna do a pink. A dark pink. All right, I got my pink, so I'm going to go ahead and put this on the machine. Okay, so now it's time to decide where we want the name placement to go. So I usually like to put the name facing outward, a little bit down from the corner right here on the blanket. So that's what I'm going to do today. I feel like with these blankets, it's really difficult to get the name right in the middle. And I just like it right there because if the person's holding the blanket, you know, the name could be shown. So that's where I like to put it. So that's what we're gonna do today. Okay, so here's my hoop. I had to take it off the machine. I put it on there prematurely, but here it is. And you see the placement box here. And so the name is going to be written going this way. So the bottom of the name will be here. All right, so now it's time to lay the fabric down. And I've already went ahead and folded it here at one of the corners, just so I can know about where the middle of this kind of corner piece lands. Okay, so I have that right there and I can see through this. I don't know if it comes through on the camera, but I can see exactly where that name is going to be. And let me just look at this blanket, and yeah, I think that is perfect. But before we put it back on the embroidery machine, I need to find the secret weapon. Okay, so here it is. It is this water soluble stabilizer. And I get this one from Joann. I believe that you can also get it from Amazon, Hobby Lobby, or wherever you get your craft supplies. But this right here is a game changer. Like I said in the beginning, this is my first time using this type of fleece. And to be honest, I don't think it will be a problem embroidering directly onto this, but I know when I use Minky, this right here is a game changer because Minky is so thick, and then you have the texture with like the bumps that are in the fabric. A lot of times the thread of the name or the design that you may be putting on to the thick fleece fabric, it could get lost and kind of sink into it, but this helps it stand out and stand on top of the fabric. So I'm going to use it no matter what. And in order to use it, all I do is, let's see. Yeah, this is perfect. So all I do is kind of lay this on top, and you can pin it down, but I'm going to sit this back on top of my embroidery machine. What I'm going to do is another stay stitch before I start my design, and that'll help hold this stabilizer in place. All right, now that we have this, I'm going to carefully transfer this back over to my embroidery machine, do a stay stitch here, and then let the design begin. All right, I got it laid down and it is ready to go. And to be honest, y'all, I am definitely working harder, not smarter, because I can totally see the outline. So I could have put this stabilizer on once I got this fabric back over here, but it's neither here nor there. What I'm gonna go ahead and do is run another outline. Okay, so the outline is good to go. The stabilizer is not moving. So I'm gonna go ahead and start the machine to let the design run. All right, so the embroidery is done and it looks really, really good. I didn't think I would like the dark pink, but I think it works. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this off the embroidery machine and show you how I do that. Okay, so as we already know, this is a water-soluble stabilizer. I can remove it by wetting it, but I don't want to wet this brand new blanket. And so what I'm going to do is try to get as much off by cutting it as I can. And then I will cut around it. I can't safely without messing up the blanket, of course. What doesn't come up easily, then I will just dab it with water until the stabilizer completely dissolves. All right, so I still have this on the hoop. I'm gonna go ahead and take it off. I'm just gonna cut this away. And so this is also, I'm not sure if I said this in the beginning, but this is also a water soluble stabilizer. So it's not extremely important that I pull this out, especially if it deteriorates the threads, but I do like to get as much of it as I can. Because sometimes you can feel this through the blanket, but this one is really soft, so you really should be able to feel this through the blanket. And the first time that the customer washes this blanket, all of this will dissolve. All right, now back over to the money side. I'm just gonna clean this up a bit. And there you have it, the embroidery portion of this blanket is done. I was able to remove about 100% of the stabilizer. That's not always the case. Sometimes it takes a little while, especially depending on the font that I use. And this is a really thin cursive font, which I like it, but it's kind of hard to read her name. The baby's name is Corinne Noel, if you were wondering. But that is it. That part is done. Now it is time to put the two pieces of the blanket together. So one day I am going to have a large cutting slash just huge table in my craft space. But until then, I usually use my floor to lay things out. And as you can see, I have the blankets laid out right side to right side. And I'm just going to pin them together before I take them to my sewing machine to stitch together. I don't think but when it comes to you. Okay, so blanket number 2 is done. I went ahead and ran the embroidery machine a second time. And as you can see with the thicker stitches, try to say that fast 5 times. You can see that with the thicker stitches, how it just looks really, really good, and how this stabilizer makes sure the stitches stay on top of the fabric. So I really like that for embroidery. I have it all sewn together, and I went ahead and trimmed the edges with my pinking shears. So now I just need to find the hole, which is right here, and go ahead and turn the blanket through. All right, so I got it all turned right side out, and as you can see, it looks really, really good. I like the letters. I don't dislike this pink on the blanket. I honestly think I probably could have went with gray. It would not have shown up like this pink, of course, but either way, I like it. And so what I'm going to do now is go ahead and take this to the pressing station. I'm going to go ahead and iron down the edges of this blanket. It'll just make it a whole lot easier when it's time to top stitch. And so I'll press it and then I'll top stitch probably about 1/4 of an inch from the edge. Mostly importantly, making sure I catch this, and I'll press that down when I'm at the pressing station as well. All right, I'll be back, and when I come back, I'll have a finished blanket. Hooray, hooray, both blankets are officially done. Yo, I just love making blankets. They are so simple and quick and easy. I think I like that most of all. Who doesn't love a quick and simple project? And I think they're just instinctively cute. A little cute customized gift for a little one that they can really have for a long time. And I love the way this Layla stitched out. I'm definitely going to program that font and use it more often, especially for a kid with a short name. And there you have it, friends. That is how I embroider a customized blanket. As a reminder, I have a Husqvarna Topaz 50. I also have a 40, but we didn't use that one today for embroider. We used the 50. And so if you have a different machine, obviously the process is going to be a little bit different. However, as long as you are familiar with your machine, you should be able to maneuver it to get the outcome that we did today. I'll be sure to link the products that I mentioned down in the description block. And yeah, hopefully you guys found this video helpful. If you did and you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and go ahead and subscribe. I have a lot more of how-to videos coming to my channel, so go ahead and subscribe so you won't miss any of those videos coming up. All right, until next time, happy sewing, you guys.